a football fight is going viral. And when a football fight goes viral, I get tagged. I get tagged a lot. And when I get tagged a lot, I like to do a little digging to figure out what's going on, because there's this weird phenomena, right, that happens in football and in the internet in general. Something will randomly go viral, but nobody seems to know where it's from. And you can always chase this down in the comments. Like this particular one was on Twitter, right? But in any social media you go on, if something happened and a lot of people know what it is and where it's from, you'll see it in the comments right away. It'll be comments like, oh, I remember that match, or yo, did you know this is from this, or whatever. But this is one of those things that I'm getting tagged in the actual title. It's just meanwhile in Bangladesh, and it's just a massive brawl. Now, obviously, this Twitter account, Football Fights, they don't really give a shit when any of this happened. They don't really care where any of it was. I mean, they kind of piece together the fact that it's in Bangladesh. But they just throw it up because, you're looking to get interactions. And to be honest, they promise football fights. But then when you go to the comments, besides people just tagging me so I talk about it, there's nobody really mentioning the teams or talking about the fact that it was in Bangladesh or anything. So I've become interested. I want to chase this down because this fight is wild. I mean, it starts, I'll just give you a taste. It starts with a kick and then a flying kick in the back of that guy. So we are flying, right? This is elite, all-time football brawl type stuff. And I want to know what the fuck happened. And so I tracked down a Facebook video, right? This is the first thing that I can find. A video on Facebook. Well, actually, no, that's not the first thing I found. The first thing I found is that apparently hardcore Islamist groups are marching and protesting and like attacking women's football matches in Bangladesh, which fuck that. Okay. That what are you doing? Come on. All right. Like just hitting that off the top. I believe in freedom of religion. I'll protect your right to, do whatever you want with your religion. Right. But, if you don't like women's football and you think it's against your religion, then just, don't let your wife and daughter play, which obviously that's a problematic sentence to begin with. But if somebody else who doesn't really believe in your religion wants to kick a ball around, don't try and beat them up with a stick. That sounds fair. But fortunately, the Bangladeshi FA actually really condemned the protests, so this isn't something that's going to halt women's football in Bangladesh. It's just a couple of people that clearly have kind of lost touch with reality a little bit. But back to this fight. I can confirm that it did happen in Bangladesh. And I can do this starting with a video that's actually much longer than the one on Twitter. See, this video is 3 minutes and 40 seconds of chaos. Right? And this chaos continues, right? Because we have this kick, and then we have the flying kick in the back, and then the guy that delivers the flying kick is talking mad trash, and this guy's trying to chase him down. This happened in 2018. The first hint at this was the fact that I found a video on Facebook right above a video of somebody putting Coke and Mentos into a container. I don't go on Facebook, but this from 2018, November 23rd, 2018, one of the famous fighting moments in world football. This match was between Dhaka Abahani and Basundra Kings in the Federation Cup final. Now, how much can I trust this Facebook post? Really? Not a lot, but it can at least send me in the right direction. Unfortunately, this Facebook post shows, a couple punches thrown before the kick came in. Right, so maybe we get a little bit more of the meaning. Another excellent showing of the flying kick, and then just a really long 8-minute play out of all the things that happened. And then we've got an excellent Bangladeshi ambulance flying by that's coming in to pick up one of the players. And I'm sorry, this looks like a clown car. I kind of love this. I love every piece of this. The referee obviously going around handing out a ton of red cards. The guy that delivered the kick, the guy that was chasing the guy that delivered the flying jump kick, and of course the guy that delivered the flying jump kick are all shown red cards, which, yeah, that's fair. My second clue is that if you actually watch this entire video, which I'm not going to subject you to, it's just kind of a lot of dudes, going forehead to forehead. It's not overly interesting once you get the kicks out of the way, is that it says Walton Federation Cup 2018 in the video. So that, hey, That's the Federation Cup final. We're now tracking down the lore of exactly when this fight happened. So it happened in 2018. And then if you Google the Walton Federation Cup, it is known as that because their sponsor is the Walton Group. It's just called the Federation Cup. Typically, the final was indeed between Dhaka and Basundara Kings. I would imagine, yeah, Basundara Kings right here. And we have one more thing that we can track down. There is a score on this image. 2-1. All right. Now, if the score is 2-1, that actually gives us a 3-minute window that this fight could have happened, allegedly. I don't know how this whole thing happened in just 3 minutes because there's no way it just happened in 3 minutes. So I don't know exactly how we've come to the conclusion, because this video on Facebook all the way down to the ambulance coming onto the field is like 8 minutes of chaos. And then we've got, teams reconciling and whatever. The video skips around a little bit, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But if it's 2-1, then this is late in the second half of what was the final. And this is an important tournament, by the way, in Bangladesh. All right, the winner goes to the AFC Cup. So the winner goes to continental competition. This is your opportunity to go get continental money, to go play against the biggest teams from other countries. Obviously, the Champions League in every continent is very important, not just the Champions League in Europe, particularly for the clubs in that continent, particularly for teams that play in a nation like Bangladesh, where football is basically on the back burner. I once made a video talking about how it was the Sri Lanka national team, but Bangladesh is not far behind in this. Those national teams in South Asia, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and Maldives, are basically some of the worst national teams in the world. And it's particularly remarkable considering Bangladesh in particular has like over 100 million people. If you don't believe me, Bangladesh probably has the largest collection of people that nobody really cares about or talks about. There are 173 million people in Bangladesh. That is basically over a third of the entire population of the European continent. And I feel like nobody ever talks about Bangladesh at all. Just food for thought. To be more specific, I guess it'd be the European Union, which has 448 million people in it. Amazingly, if you add Turkey and Russia into the overall population of Europe, you actually get all the way to 744 million, which is more than I thought. Shout out Europe. Learned something today. And then there's the final question of what the hell was the end result of this entire fight. And it turned out that the 3 players that ended up receiving red cards, which would be the guy that threw the kick, the guy that kicked the guy that threw the kick, and then the guy that tried to attack the guy that kicked the guy that kicked the guy. They all got big bans. Now, I believe the original guy got an 8-match ban, but it was later reduced to 6 matches with a fine. So they all pay significant fines. The other 2 guys had I think it was a 6-match ban. Yeah, the 6-match bans for Sabuj and Mamoon were reduced by 1 game. So this article from December 2018 with a picture that looks like it comes from the fight. So there you go. You tagged me in this, and I have now been able to track down exactly when and where this fight happened, because apparently nobody else was able to do that. I mean, at least they knew it was in Bangladesh, but it was the Walton Cup final in 2018 between Dhaka and, sorry, I forgot the name of the team again, but I gotta say it to show off. Basundara Kings. And it was late in the second half, and these guys did end up getting serious suspensions and fines, and they all got sent off. And by the way, full credit to the refereeing team, I think, for handling this as well as you possibly could. If a guy's going to be dumb enough to try and drop kick somebody, and another guy's going to be dumb enough to try and kick somebody, the best you can do is try to make sure it doesn't escalate outside of those couple of idiots, send them off, and then suspend them and fine them. And that's what they did. Order restored. Walton Cup, though. Walton Cup is for the streets. It is the Bangladesh FA Cup, by the way. Just in case you were wondering, that's obviously what this is. But yeah, if you're going to the Walton Cup to play, you better bring your hard hat, because shit's about to get real. Crazy fight, though. Like, why would you do this? We didn't really... Why? Why are you just kicking a dude? What's the possible takeaway from that? I don't even know.